you have already attended the theory session for Bernstein-Vazirani algorithm. So the main concept behind Bernstein-Vazirani algorithm was to prove that, in certain sense, quantum computer is superior than classical computers, because once you develop a new system, you should be able to tell the difference between the old one and the new one, and you should be able to also establish certain facts that yes, this system is more efficient than the existing system. That's what we also call the quantum advantage. So here, this Deutsch-Josa or Bernstein-Vazirani, the main aim here is to basically show that quantum computers are in a way more efficient than classical computers. So moving on to the basic idea behind Bernstein-Vazirani. So you are given some secret number, maybe 101 or 111101010, any sequence of number, and you have to guess that number. You don't know that number. You just have a system, and you have a certain person who is just telling you, yeah, this is the code. So you have to crack that code or crack that number in minimum amount of steps as possible. For example, you have 6-bit number. Here only take example in this input. Suppose the number is 100100. You want to know whether you want to basically crack this number using your computer. So the first thing you'll do is try to find ones, how many ones are there, zeros are there. That will be your brute force approach. But when you're working on a classical system, the most efficient approach would be using AND gates. So you'll basically AND every bit of the given string with a 1 and find out whether the output is 1 or 0. So when you do this, you'll basically need 6 attempts because there are 6 bits. You're basically checking every bit. So if you remember in data structures and algorithm, the big O notation, that is the amount of time needed or the amount of time complexity, would be proportional to n, where n is the size of the string which we have to find. So when it comes to classical computers, the best case would be O of n. So how can we reduce this, or how can quantum computer be established as a supreme one rather than the classical one? So here they have developed Bernstein-Vazirani algorithm, which basically completes this whole task in O of 1. So basically we went from n, that is size of the string, to 1, which means irrespective of the size of the string, it can be 6-bit, 8-bit, 12-bit, 13-bit, any amount of bits, and it still would crack it in one go. How amazing that is. Just to imagine, even if n is like 28 bits or like 32 bits, you can just crack that particular code, the particular string, in a single go instead of going one by one. So this was the whole idea behind Bernstein-Vazirani algorithm. So this algorithm already has been explained theoretically, I'm assuming, in the previous theoretical lecture. So I'll just go through quickly about how the Bernstein-Vazirani algorithm works. So the main idea behind this is to first superimpose, so to entangle all the qubits. Then you go around and you perform CNOT operation at the places or at the index where there is 1 in the string. For example, if I take the string 100100 and you consider the qubit allocation for that, which means that the CNOT gate should be at Q2 and Q5 position. That's the basic theory behind the implementation of this algorithm. So what you have to do, first you have to entangle using Hadamard gates. Then you have to perform CNOT operation with the ancilla bit wherever there is 1 in the string. And then you basically Hadamard operation again, which means you decode them. So this is the whole basic structure of Bernstein-Vazirani. So starting with the implementation, let's start with the first part. So yeah, this is all importing Qiskit libraries, which you have to do before any sorts of programming. You can either mention specifically what you want. For example, I want classical register, quantum circuit, quantum register. I have mentioned that specifically. But if you want every access to every library simultaneously, you can just do import Qiskit star, which means it will just import everything. Running this and moving ahead. So first thing which you need to do, as mentioned in the Bernstein-Vazirani algorithm, create a circuit. So the function to create a quantum circuit is by mentioning some variable. I have named dv because we are working on Bernstein-Vazirani, and 7,6. So now you might wonder, this is a 6-bit string. Why are we using 7? So the importance of the 7th bit here, remember starting from 0. That's why when I talk about 7th, it's actually Q6. So that's one more important thing to remember. So when I'm talking about Q6, it's basically called the ancilla bit or the garbage bit in some cases. So what exactly do we use that for? If you remember in the classical counterpart, we sometimes, when we are implementing certain algorithms, we use a buffer kind of array to temporarily store the values and then use it somewhere else. So, it acts as a buffer, and it just helps in your calculations, basically. So that's the whole idea behind the ancilla bit or the garbage bit, which is the Q6 here in our circuit. So once you build the circuit, you have to apply a NOT gate, or as we know the quantum counterpart as X gate, to the garbage bit. So you might be wondering, why are we doing this? This we are doing because there's a certain flow of algorithm. For example, if you want to do binary search, you need to remember that the array needs to be structured first. So these are the particular rules you need to follow as you go ahead with Bernstein-Vazirani. So you apply X gate to the ancilla bit, and you apply Hadamard gate to all other remaining bits, all other remaining qubits. Here we are talking specifically about qubits. So as you can see, Python function for I in range 0 to 7, I have applied all Hadamard gates. So when I run this function, you can see that this particular function has run, and the first part of the circuit is complete. And BV.barrier, as Keshav has explained before, barrier is just to separate your circuit in different parts so that you have a clear understanding of what exactly is going on. So once the first initial part is over, where you're basically using superposition and entanglement, you move ahead to actually working on the algorithm. So moving on, as you remember, the next procedure or the next step in Bernstein-Vazirani is to apply CNOT gate wherever there is 1. Now we already know the string here. The string is 100,100, which means the CNOT gate will come at Q2 and Q5. So since we know this already, we can easily implement it and move ahead. So the reason why I'm taking this route, that is us knowing what the string is and then moving ahead to generalizing it, is that it's easier to understand when you have a certain example. So here we are taking an example of a 6-bit string, and the string is 100, 100. We are first conducting a Hadamard operation on every qubit, and X operation, then Hadamard operation on the garbage bit. And then the next procedure is performing CNOT operation wherever you find 1. So if you check the string here, 100,100, the first one is in the second position, and the second one is in the 5th position. So that's what you do. You perform CX operation from second bit to the ancilla bit, 5th bit to the ancilla bit. So that's how you go ahead with the Bernstein-Vazirani algorithm. Once you're done with that, you basically have performed the decoding operation or the guessing part of the Bernstein-Vazirani algorithm. Once that is done, move on to actually measuring the output and seeing if your output is correct or not. So again, it's mandatory. You have to perform Hadamard operations before doing implementing any sorts of algorithm to maintain that superposition, to keep the superposition principle very intact. So as you can see here, I have already implemented the Hadamard gate on all the qubits. And the reason why, you can see here that on the Q6 or the qubit 6 line, there is no Hadamard gate. The important reason is why, because it's ancilla bit, it's garbage bit. We don't need to measure its value at all. We need to only focus on 0 to 5, the first 6 qubits. So after you're done with the Hadamard implementation, the next step is to measure the output, like what has the quantum computer guessed. So that will come into consideration in this error function. I think Keshav has already explained what error function is. So this is basically a simulator which will help in simulating a quantum circuit on a classical system and give you the output of how the quantum computer might actually work. So the 1024 shots are performed and the results are plotted. As you can see, we know the secret number is actually 100, 100, and the quantum computer or the system is recognizing it as 100, 100 in one shot. Like there is no, what do you call, multiple iterations. Because here there are 6 bits, there is nothing here which shows that the system had to guess 6 times. No, it guessed one time and it got it correct. So this proves our one-time theory that the complexity for Bernstein-Vazirani will be O of 1. That is a constant. So you don't have to like depend on the size of the string. So this is basically the implementation for a 6 length 6 string. So that's how you start to understand Bernstein-Vazirani. Okay, now the real challenge comes when we don't know the size of the string. There is any random string chosen by some random person, and you want to guess that string using your system. So as you remember, the 3 basic things which you always need to remember while implementing Bernstein-Vazirani. First thing, applying Hadamard gate on the actual qubits you'll be working on, that is Q0 to Q5, and applying X gate and then Hadamard gate on the ancilla bit. Second step, always perform C0 operation wherever 1 occurs in the secret number string. So that is your second step. Third step is again performing Hadamard operation so that you can extract the information about how the quantum computer has guessed. And after the 3 phases are done, there is time to measure your output. So we know that this 3 parts has to be followed in order to implement Bernstein-Vazirani, and we followed it for 6 bit. Now, what if we don't know the length of the secret number? Let's say here, as you can see, I have already worked out an example. So I'll just move through the code. Suppose the secret number is something XYZ or 110 in this case. So if you remember, first part, what we are doing, we are applying Hadamard gate to every single qubit except ancilla bit, because on every single qubit, first you have to apply Hadamard, but in ancilla bit, you have to first apply X gate, then Hadamard gate. So you can see the Python code which I have written here. First, quantum circuit, you have to prepare the quantum circuit, obviously, that's initialization in every quantum computing algorithm. So here, if you can see length of secret number +1. Since we don't know what the length of secret number is, you can just ask Python to measure it. So whenever you give any secret number, for example, I have given here 110, the system doesn't know, even I won't know if someone else sets that secret number. So once that number is set, the Python can measure the length +1 and add all the bits. So if I change here, for example, from 1, you can see already worked out example Q1, Q0, Q1, Q2, and Q3 ancilla bit. If I just change here to, for example, one more, I added one more bit, and then ran the program. As you can see, it automatically adapted to the increased length because the Python code I've written it in the same way. You just have to remember the 3 steps: applying Hadamard gate for non-ancilla bits, but applying X gate first on ancilla bit, then Hadamard gate. Second step, applying C0 everywhere where 1 exists in the string. Third phase, applying Hadamard gate only on the non-ancilla bits, and the fourth is just measuring the output. So these 3 phases you need to remember. First phase we implemented using Python for any general length of string. After doing that, we'll move on to applying the C0 gate. So C0 is represented by Cx. This is one factoid you need to remember. This is a very important factoid because the short forms for gates are certain like different than linguistically written in any quantum computing book. This is only restricted to Qiskit, by the way. So yeah, what the second phase of our Bernstein-Vazirani algorithm was applying C0 gate anywhere where there is 1 in the whole string. So as you can see here, for j in range 0 to length of the secret number, if the secret number has 1 in it, I'm applying .cx. That bv underscore gen is basically a circuit, as you can see in the previous previous set of lines. So I'm applying the CX gate only when the secret number has 1 in that particular position. Remember, position is measured from left to right, where the leftmost bit is 0 and the rightmost bit is the length of the string. Because we in computer science, we measure from the left to right, from right to left, and we measure it as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's why you need to remember here that you have to write -1 minus j instead of writing minus j. If you write minus j, the error that will throw at us is index out of range, because we are not reaching that particular index number. So always remember, since we are starting with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, always put a -1 before writing length of secret number minus j. So moving on, as you can see here, this is usual, just a representation stuff. bvgen.barrier. Barrier is this line, basically. This is just to show the 3 phases. The 3 phases I have been talking since the beginning. So using the 2 barriers, you can basically show the 3 phases. So that is an easier way to understand. So after we are done here, after I've implemented, okay, you might have seen this difference. Okay, this is just an outline, and this is looking fancy and colored. So if you notice, the draw function has MPL in the previous box. MPL means matplot library. So my matplot library has colors and color scheme. So if you use MPL in the draw function, it will give you a colored circuit. If you don't use it, it will just give you a pencil sketch of the circuit. So as you can see, we have implemented the first part, the second part, and we are moving to the third and the last part. So after applying CX gate, let's check if it's correct. Our logic is that in second phase, wherever there is 1 in the number, you have to apply C0 gate. So the secret number is 1101, which means there has to be 3 C0 gates at the positions 0, 2, and 3. So if we move here, you can see at the position 0, 2, and 3. So our logic or our Python code worked in this case. So moving on to the next part, once we implement the third part, as in applying Hadamard gate to every qubit except the ancilla qubit, this is basically this function, bv underscore gen dot h is Hadamard gate, and then measuring all the outputs for the given string and then drawing the circuit. So you can see this is the previous example where only 3 bit string was there. So since we have moved to 4, the following diagram should change. So as you can see, the diagram has changed. There are 4 qubits now in action. All 4 of them are measured, 0, 1, 2, and 3. And now it's time to check if our result is correct or not. So once I press enter, shift enter, this should basically, this value should change to updated value. So what our updated value is? Our updated value is 1101. So once I implement updated value, it will show 1101, which means that our circuit has run perfectly well. So I hope everyone has understood the 3 phases of Bernstein-Vazirani and how you can implement it for general case. And for example, there is some secret number which I don't know, and one of my friend has just come up and he has just typed some random string of numbers, for example 1010. I don't know it. The notebook was scrolled up. So what I can do is I have my independent code ready, because that code is irrespective of the length or any hint of what that number is. So what you do is just press shift enter, and shift enter, basically running everything. As you can see, it has implemented the circuit accordingly as we had guessed. or as we had written, and then showed output for 1101. So basically, if you change any like length of for like following number, for example, I have changed the length to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 qubits. Now moving on to 7 qubits, this is supposed to be 7-bit string. I don't know what it is, but I have my Python code which will automatically adjust to the length and try to figure out. As you can see, it's working perfectly fine because it is also implementing the phase according to the length of the string. So as you can see here, 0 to 6, which means 7 qubits it's properly implementing. And then it's going on to the final answer. This final answer I can see 10, 10, 10. So this I'll tell to my friend that I have my system has gotten the answer as 10, 10, 101. And then my friend will say, yes, it is correct, because that's what the secret number was put. So to recap the whole thing, we began with 6-qubit system, explaining how Bernstein-Vazirani works for 6-qubit system by hard coding and showing how Bernstein-Vazirani works. Then we moved on to a general case where anyone can tell any sorts of any length of string, and the code will automatically adapt to it using our 3-phase logic, and then give us the output. The reason why I'm saying 3 phases, as you can see the beauty of bv_gen.barrier here, because this barrier will bifurcate between the 3 phases, and it will tell us how exactly each phase affects and how exactly each phase is very important in our whole implementation. So this was Bernstein-Vazirani algorithm for general case. I have here something which I can't execute in real time, because in real time this might take actually a lot of time. So if you see here, I have written a code, looks like ibmq.load account. So this is actually a free system provided by IBM. Anyone who is attending the session, or anyone anywhere sitting around the world on internet, can create an IBMQ account, can get their own key and register that key with their system. And if you do that, and if you give backend limit to less than 6 qubit or greater than 2 qubits, it will basically tell you which of the actual IBM quantum computers are empty. For example, in the morning, I ran this code. As you can see, the timing and the date here, it's August 3rd, 2021, morning 6 o'clock. That is 6 hours, 10 minutes, 9 minutes, 17 seconds. The reason why I have executed this very early in the morning is generally at that moment or at that time, the jobs queued for the actual quantum computer are very less. So the results you're going to see below this for Bernstein-Vazirani, these are run on an actual quantum computer. So as you can see, my starting example was of 110, if you remember. So this result is run for a secret number 110. That quantum computer does not know that I have given it 110, but I have just coded like certain general code for the computer to understand and implement and try to guess what it is. So generally, if I did that to a classical computer, it would just guess it 1 bit by 1 bit. Like, okay, I'll guess first bit, then second, then third, then fourth. But quantum computer can do this all things simultaneously. That's why parallelism is a big concept in quantum computing. So as you can see here, the highest probability is for 110, which is 0.38, which is understandable because that is our answer. But you might be wondering, why are there other answers? Why is there 000? Why is there 001? Or why is there other outputs there? So let me tell you one thing. If you remember the significance of 1024 shots, which means that program was run 1024 times on an actual IBM Q computer, which is accessible through cloud, as I've shown before. So one thing you need to know here is the actual quantum computer has a lot of noise when compared to a classical computer. So classical computer or simulation does not have a noise. Does not have noise because we are literally simulating a quantum computer. So simulations don't have errors or noise generation or disturbance in between. But an actual quantum computer has a lot of noise. So when it comes to 1024 shots, point 0.3, which means approximately 300 shots taken out of 1024 gave us the correct output. That's why it's showing that probability, the highest probability of 110. You can already tell from the diagram that yes, the quantum computer is actually decently working, because the highest probability is 110, which is our correct answer. But it also shows certain peaks at 100, 010, and 111. And that is because of quantum noise generation. That you have to remember, like take into consideration whenever you're working with an actual live quantum computer, because the noise generated is high because we don't have that much hardware advancement yet. So the other values except 110 are basically due to the noise conform. This is one of the reasons why we just don't take one shot. We take 1024 shots. And shots as in we run the program 1024 times and check the output every time what it is and compare the amount of time that output came versus the total shots. That gives us the probability. So whatever the highest probability is the correct answer, is our consideration. Because that's how you approach a certain problem when there is a noise in the system. So as you can see, for now, if we talk about small scale stuff, it's actually not as efficient as we think it might be, but we can work through with simulations and work through with basic algorithms to understand how the system works. Once there is proper hardware development, we can obviously use quantum computers in a more broader sense. So this is an actual implementation on an actual IBM Q system. You can actually see here IBM Q factory loading, and the existing session will be replaced. So before that, when I ran in the morning, it showed IBM QX2 system was, see, you can see a least busy backend was IBM QX2 system. So IBM QX2 system is actually a quantum computer which was for which the particular job was queued, and it was the least busy. That is, no one else was accessing that at the moment. That's how I was able to run it on the computer early in the morning. So this is Bernstein-Vazirani algorithm. Just to recap in short, Bernstein-Vazirani used to show that how quantum algorithms are, or how quantum computer is superior than the normal computer. How when compared with time complexity, there is time complexity of O of 1 for Bernstein-Vazirani, whereas O of n for classical computers. When it comes to, like, suppose 1000-bit string which it needs to guess, it will take 1000 revolutions, whereas quantum computer can do it in one go because of the concept of parallelism. And how Bernstein works is at 3 phases. First is applying Hadamard to every bit, every qubit except ancilla qubit. In case of ancilla qubit, you first apply the X gate, then the Hadamard gate. This is the first phase. Second phase, you apply C0 gate wherever you can find 1 in the string. And the third phase is applying Hadamard gate again on every bit except the ancilla bit. And then our last straw is to measure all the output and then run this particular procedure 1024 times, check output every single time, check what the output is, and divide it by total number of times the shots were taken, 1024. So when you run it on a simulator, you get the probability 1, because every time the system was run, it gave the same output. That is 100, 100, which is the correct answer. Since there is no noise incurred in a simulator, there is no different probabilities which are hindered or which are in addition to the regular probabilities. When you run it for a general case, you add certain, like, you take the logic from the 3 phases and you code it in Python logically. There is no quantum computing involved here except the functions. Here it's just basic Python logic or basic mathematics. And then when you move on to a quantum computer, you have to take into consideration the amount of noise generated in the machine, the amount of error generated in the machine, and that's how it leads to other answers as well out of the 1024 shots, which is due to the inefficiency of the hardware. And hence, always when you run on a quantum computer, if you want to know the correct answer, you should choose the highest probable answer, or the highest probability, or highest amount of times, or whatever string has appeared in the given system. So that was all for Bernstein-Vazirani algorithm. I'm sure Keshav has covered all single qubit, multi-qubit stuff, so I won't be touching there right now. But if you have any doubts with respect to Bernstein-Vazirani or Deutsch-Josa or single or multi-qubit operations, you can ask now. I'll be taking some questions and answering them parallelly. If anyone has any sorts of questions, it's fine. Any sorts will. Okay. Please tell how we find a secret number by running the code. Okay. So you want me to run the code 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 5 zeros, 1, 1. I'll go step by step. Okay. So your number, suppose the number you have told in the chat is, I'll copy it directly from the chat. Okay. So the number you have told is 15011. So this is the secret number. For example, you have told and the system doesn't know, or I don't know. And when it's generally coded, this is code for general string. Like you don't need to see how many bits are there or whatever stuff is there in the string. This particular code is for any amount of string. But if you want to see how it works for that particular string, you can see here. I'll run the first case. As you can see, since there are around 8 bits there, it will automatically adjust to the whatever the length of the string is, which we don't know, and then organize the qubits accordingly. Then moving on to the next part. Moving on to the next part, it will form the circuit. Since I have told that in second phase, wherever there is 1, there will be C0 get applied. Let's see if that logic actually works, which means our code works if that logic works. Yeah, so it has ran the particular code. So what you had told is 1 5 zeros 1 1, which means the C0 gate should be at the position 0 1 4 5 6 7 0 1 and 7. So yeah, as you can see here, it's at 0 1 and 7. It is automatically adjusting because we have used that particular logic set. And then we run the final output. As you can see, the number you have told, which the computer doesn't know, neither do I know. I'm actually just writing here. That's why, just imagine that you come on the notebook and you write it, and I'll just run the program. So basically what I have done is I have just run the program. So you got your final whatever string you have written, which the computer has guessed in one go. I hope your doubt or your query was clear. If there is anything else, you can ask us right now. We'll explain it in greater detail. Oh, can we have different gate implementations for this? Yes, actually you can have. Just the one thing which you need to remember is how every gate functions, and just the most important thing is follow that particular logic. One easier way to explain this would be, just imagine digital electronics. We have digital electronics in that we have NAND gate, NOR gate, XOR gate, OR gate, AND gate. So all these kinds of gate. If you make a circuit using just NAND gates, there is always a chance that you can always make a circuit using just AND gates, NOT gates, and other basic gates, basically. So of course, there is always a possibility that you can use different gates and make a particular circuit. So yes, the doubt that can we have different gate implementations? Yes, we can have. Just the thing you need to remember is don't differ from the logic. Like if you're using NAND, for example, in digital electronics, there is some circuit which is using only NAND gates. The proper explanation would be that you can use AND, NOT, or NOR to make that circuit. You can't use some XOR or some other exotic gates to make that particular circuit. In the similar way, when you compare to the quantum sense, you can always make a certain circuit using different basic gates. The only thing is you have to take care of the logic. You have to take care that the following matrices make particular sense and act accordingly. I hope that cleared the
Thank you, Shivam. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for asking. Yeah. Anyone else, if you want to go ahead, you can please go ahead. You can ask questions about theory or practicals or anything till now, including quantum physics, basics, quantum computing, anything. If you have any doubts in Deutsch-Josa or normal or Bernstein-Vazirani or multi or single qubit gate implementation. I think the easier way to understand every quantum gate is to imagine it as a digital analog. So analog as in not the electrical analog as in the English definition analogous, which means that it is similar but not exactly similar. That is not similar in definition. So when you're using, for example, AND gate or you're using NOT gate, if you have observed carefully, when you have used X gate, wherever in quantum computing, it has changed its bit. Like for example, if you apply it on 0, qubit having value 0, then the output you get is 1. If you apply it on qubit having value 1, you'll always get the opposite value, which is 0. So that is it basically acting like a NOT gate, correct? So when it is acting like a NOT gate, you can of course make electronics and quantum computing analog, like some relations here, so that you can it's easier to understand. So because that's what we are doing, right? In classical computers, how we generated, we went from computing theory to making digital circuits to making computers to making CPUs. The same way we are going, like we are making quantum circuits, we're using quantum gates instead of digital gates or like electronic gates. I hope there's some clarity in concepts now. Is there any other doubt? You can unmute and ask, or you can put it on the chat. If there's no other doubts, I think we can conclude the session. Doubts as in it's not restricted to only this session. You can ask about any other basics of quantum computing or anything. What for transpile and assemble packages? Okay, so in I think you're talking about this, right? Transpile BV underscore gen backend and transpile underscore BV underscore circuit. So yeah, this is a function which they have actually provided as in their document. If we have to use that particular thing to access their cloud system. So this is not something which is in logical or like algorithm. This is default everywhere when you want to run the circuit on a quantum computer. So this is the function defined by them, where you basically send your circuit through that particular system to their quantum computer, where it will actually be executed. So that's the main thing of the function. Yeah. So yeah, those packages are used basically for that purpose. So it's not like related to the algorithm specifically. It's for any stuff or any circuit you want to run on the quantum computer.
It's not audible.
Yeah. Anything else?
Thank you. So are you done, Shiva?
Yes, yes. I can conclude the session. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Shivam, for what exactly? Yeah. For audience, we'll be meeting again tomorrow at 9:30. So with the new session. I hope all of you have got the schedule. The links is according to the day. Every day we have new links. Kindly join through that link. Sharing everyday link will be slightly difficult for us to share it on the WhatsApp. Please have the schedule with you and kindly join daily basis links. Thank you. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow. Thank you, Shima.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Attendance link is already shared. Yes. It's in Gail's WhatsApp actually. Madam, attendance link is in the WhatsApp. I think you can actually log in through that and enter your details.
Ma'am, it's in WhatsApp. It is second session link.
Oh, okay. Oh, 1 second, ma'am.
Third session link is not shared.
No, actually, ma'am, Keshav's and Shivam's was the same session, ma'am.
Acha, okay, okay.
I think you have entered your details in that link.
I think so. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it is because of the glitch we have shifted to Google Meet.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Otherwise,
Right.
it's the same link for both the session. Not to worry,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.